Yeah, I had a bit of fun messing around with Google's Gemini AI image creator app, software, whatever. I've tried it a couple of times, and it's completely new to me. But I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a go. And this is what I got for chip chucking at the dealer. Poor old man. Uh, yeah, the whole point is quite simply, these guys who just lost 100,000, Bobby Rivas, Bluff and Bob, and his buddies, and at the end of losing 100,000, they say, "Yeah, but we had fun, didn't we? I mean, it really was fun, wasn't it?" I'm thinking, huh, somebody amongst that group. Oh, wait, all of them. Screws loose. Jeepers creepers. All right then. So, yeah, I think this is probably going to be the last session for today. Excuse me. Um, and I must admit, I'm beginning to get a little fatigued with the whole process because I keep watching these professional losers online, and the last one was Bobby Rivas, who had Bluff and Bob, as he calls himself, who did a whole session about half an hour of playing blackjack, and he came out a winner at the end. But God, he fluffed it so many times. And what I'm getting more and more is just the feeling that these guys are just manipulating the audience. They are, they're it makes no sense that they would bet the way that they do with the knowledge that they have. So, in the end, you have to think they are doing what they're told in exchange for the money that they can make from Google, for the cashbacks that they get from the casino, from the comps that they get from the casino. And they're not telling the audience the truth, which is basically, hey, people, I can't actually win consistently because that'll piss off Adam Adel Cortez or whoever. So I'm just going to keep doing stupid shit and losing money, knowing that at the end of the month, it's going to come back from Google. And I think it's time they started telling the truth, to be honest. But they're not going to do that. I know that. It's not a good business plan. That's the deal. 22? How dare you? 7, 8, 9, sevens and eights, they get nines every time. Well, nearly every time, anyway. It's got to be 1, 2, hasn't it? That's a double. Money, money, money. Oh, you deserve to win that one, mister. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. The night is catching up with me. Maybe the beers have something to do with it. I don't know. That's a repeat. Oh, 51. Oh, I thought he was going to get his 7 again. He keeps getting 3 sevens. Do it again. Okey pokey. Oh, I also had an enormous dinner. It was delicious. I try to look after myself, you know. That was a bit much, I must admit. What? Was that 2, 3? I guess it must be. 5, 6. Long grass waving at us. Uh-huh. 11, 6, 3 is the drop. 14, 6. 11, 6 again. 5, 6. Bummer. Oh, I got better. How about that? Happens. Double for the loss. 2 in a row. That's just rude. I'm sorry. It's rude. All right. A little bit more in the tank. Gotta keep that tiger happy. No 9 up there? That's weird. That's what? That's very nice. 51. 2, 3. Oh, that was good. I like it. Back to the min. Bloody hell. 1, 2. 3, 4. Oh, shame. Back to the min. Patterns, people. I think that's a plus 1. 1, 2. Ooh. That was nice. Ooh, two winnies. It's very good. Big money. Hey, it's all money. It's all ammunition. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build ammunition all the time. Because, I mean, my rule has always been, when you win, you put half of the money into the bankroll, add half of the money to the bankroll, put the other half in your back pocket, and be ready to dig in your back pocket if necessary when the time comes. But plus 1, I think. Plus another 1. That was nice. Repeat. Do it again. Okay, we go back to the minimum because we made money on those things. Plus 51. That was very clever. I like that. 51, 2, 3. I'd like to get hands like that. Oh, Gordon Bennett. 5, 6. Ah, that's just rude. I'd made up for it. Just a little bit. Double for the loss. Well, that was clever. It's got to be a repeat, hasn't it? What? Minimum. Double for the loss. That was a bit cheeky. Double for the push. Oof. Oh, dear. That was, yeah. I think that's a repeat. I think that's a double for the push. Can't double it again. Ooh. Okay, 2, 3. We're moving to another. Oops, pardon me. 2, 3. Moving to another. Shoot. There we go. We are content. That is the end of it. It's number 85. Well, we'll call it 12 minutes. It's actually 11 and 10 seconds, I think. Number 85. 2,675 in 12 minutes. And today's take is number 82 was 3,950. Number 83 was 4,750. Number 84 was 3,175. Number 85, 2,675, as you can see. Total playing time, 17 minutes, 30 minutes, 43 minutes, 55 minutes. The time and all the rest doesn't matter. What matters, of course, is the total win, which is about 13,000 in an hour. And the high rollers, the flash bastards, the the people with the big checks coming in from Google, or the people with big mouths who make claims that simply aren't possibly true. They are not impressed by a win rate of 13,000 an hour. Out of that, I would take 6,500 and stick it in my back pocket, knowing that that would cover my expenses for a day in Las Vegas, assuming it was Las Vegas. I'm fairly confident I won't revisit Las Vegas until the swamp has been drained. And by that I'm referring to a swamp that was not a swamp until a guy named Donald Trump came along and turned it into one. And when he's gone, I'll think about it, if I live so long, because I am clocking on a bit, But yes, I'm not going to revisit America until that arsehole is out. And basically means I can't come until the Republicans are out, because J.D. Vance, I think, is worse, because he's not mad. He is a calculating, intelligent, cynical, dangerous man. So, that's what we have to look forward to for the next few years. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. All right then. So I just read an article, and I think it was the Washington Post. I'm never quite sure because I read the New York Times and the Washington Post very quickly, first thing in the morning, online, obviously. But it's all about how America is very badly educated in math, arithmetic, mathematics, maths, as we call it in the UK. And that enables the president, the esteemed, super popular, amazingly efficient, well, he's none of those things, is he? President of the United States can talk about reducing drug prices by 600, 700, 1,500%. And of course, anybody with the slightest knowledge of arithmetic knows that you can't reduce something by more than 100% because then you take it from X to zero. But but because America is a nation of idiots when it comes to arithmetic, he can get away with that stuff all the time. He just keeps on doing it, and I think this is why Americans in particular have a really hard time grasping the whole simple truth about progressive betting. If you are 100 units in the hole because of random betting, when you start to experience a winning streak, which basically is with the first win, every win could be the start of a winning streak, every loss could be the start of a losing streak. Mostly every win, or sorry, 50% of all wins are followed by a loss, 50% of all losses are followed by a win. So, you can't really talk about a streak until you've had three in a row. But that's beside the point. The thing is that if you are 100 units in the hole and you bet, let's say you bet 5 units, right? And you win. And it's the start of a winning streak, but you don't know it's a winning streak until you keep on winning. If you keep on betting at 5 units, right, it will take you 20 consecutive wins to get your 100 units back, which is, well, it's another 90. But let's not be presidential about this, okay? Let's just deal with simple numbers, truthful numbers, all right? So you win 5 units when you're 100 in the hole. So now you've got 19 units to catch up on. You flat betting 500 or 5 units, 5 units at a time, you're going to have 19 consecutive wins in order to get out of the hole. However, if you bet progressively and win, obviously if you bet progressively and lose, then you've got a different kind of problem. But if you bet progressively and win, let's say you go from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 to 25, then you have a much better chance of recovering your 100 units. And this is the point that seems to escape the vast majority of gamblers, not just in America. And I must admit, the American school system, and I know this from experience because I put 4 kids through it, but the American school system, the pre-college education system is shit. It is absolute shit, and does huge damage to the economy. The only thing basically that it's good for is the wealth of the colleges, because the colleges then need to insist on a 4-year study course, because the first year is spent catching up remedial English, remedial math, blah blah, to make up for the deficiencies, the incredible deficiencies of the pre-college school system in America. Same system does not apply, or the same situation, the same symptoms do not apply anywhere in Europe. And that's a fact. So, there we go. And I'm afraid, since it's my channel, I get to rant when I feel like it. Oh dear, that's no good. Okay, now we're on 1-2. And of course, it's equally fair to say that if you keep redoubling willy-nilly, then you're going to get into deep shit. But if you have a controlled progressive betting strategy, a restrained, tactical progressive betting strategy, and I can think of at least one, then you have a chance. Oh, this is bollocks. Oh, it's unbollocks. All right. That's a repeat. That was an incredibly lucky one, wasn't it? And two pairs as well. Okay, back to the men. But I mean, this sort of dumbness is it's a major problem in the States, and I'm not speaking from a distance. I'm speaking from experience, and I'm not sure that that's 1-2, but I'm going to do it anyway. Oh bugger! All right, that was a handy one. But there is a generalized inability to just process simple mathematics. I think we're on 1-2 again, aren't we? Oh, that was tough. You get a nice fluke, and then the dealer gets a better one. It's just not fair. 3-4. That's a pain in the ass, isn't it? 7-8. Bloody hell. There we go. Got better all of a sudden. And that's the game. That's what happens all the time. Yes, I just had a conversation with a guy in Florida who's retired now. Uh, everybody in Florida is retired, probably, who remembers being brought up with progressive betting because he had an uncle who was actually quite well known in roulette circles, apparently, back in the day. And he had a progressive betting strategy. He used to bet a group of numbers at roulette. And of course, in those days, it was all 00 roulette. But he and his uncle would go off to Reno from San Francisco. They lived in the Bay Area, obviously. Um, and he said, it was routine for the 8-7 will catch a 9 any day. I guess that must be a repeat, right? And he said it was routine for them to make 5,000 on a trip, and that's back then. I mean, that was a bloody fortune. 51. But you cannot beat these games without progressive betting. It is just a simple mathematical fact. That's 1-2, I think. What the fuck? 51. No, I'm going to make it 1-2 just in case I got that wrong. 3-4. Another lucky one. All right, I like it. Catching a natural on a high turnaround bet is good. I like it. For the last one. Yeah, I mean the maths, the arithmetic, no brainer, really. But they just don't get it. These people just do not get it. Last one. plus Max, excuse me, drank my coffee too fast. Hang on. Okay, I had to check there to see if there was any coffee left in the cup. And boo-hoo, there wasn't. Now we need a 9. Now we need a 7. Oh, shit. Excuse me. Got to chase that one. Having a bad day with the old throat. That's good enough. Back to the men. Okay, the usual story. Plus 1. For the loss. No, for the push. Should have been double for the push. Plus 1. I like those dealer 22s. They are so pretty. Oh, cheeky. 1, 2. Yeah, see, for the longest time, what I would do if I lost in a win progression like that, 25, 50, 75, lose 100, then I would repeat the 100. Now what I do, Alexa, reminder. Stop. Now what I do, as you may have noticed, is that I double the bet. Works better. At the low end, you can mess with how much you bet, because what your aim is to build the turnaround profit. Because the martingale, which is the one that the casinos, the progressive betting method that the casinos like to quote as being the be-all and end-all of progressive betting, which of course is a bloody lie. But anyway, that's what they like to put forward. And even their performing seals, the Vegas Mats and the Mr. Handpays and all the rest of it, they spout the same crap. That progressive betting must be a martingale and vice versa. There's no middle ground. What they love to say when they mock it is to say, yes, well, okay, so maybe you win back all your losses, but you only win 1 unit. Well, that's not what we're doing with progressive betting, I'll tell you that. For sure. Okay, where are we now? We won that one. Back to the min. Excuse me. Damn it. Good thing that 3 got in there, isn't it? We like to, ideally, we'd like to win every hand. It's that simple. That would be good. Not going to happen. 51. And I don't think they'd like it if we won every hand. They would not be amused. Excuse me, so sorry. Is that a 22 I see up there? I do believe it is. Yes. Okay, we like those. I guess that must be a repeat, right? Double down. Oh dear. Well, that worked out. But you must bet progressively, because you must win more when you win than you lose when you lose. And if you don't get that little job done, then you will leave your money behind when you go home. +1, I think. Sorry. Having a really bad day today with that. Great sleep last night. I don't know, 9.5 hours or something ludicrous like that, like a teenager, Where the hell am I now? Is that 3-4? I guess it must be, mustn't it? I like that. Turnaround wins are ideal. They're what we live for. Double for the push. Uh-huh. 1, 2. There's an example, you see. That's a double. Oh dear. Oh, worse. 5, 6. Uh-huh. Right at the end. 11, 6 dropped to 3. And the reason that I drop there is that the next bet would be 4 figures. So that's when I drop, and then after that, it's after 3 consecutive losses, I drop. But, initially I don't drop until I get to a situation where the next bet should be. So anyway, we're 11, 6 right now. Bugger, we don't double in that situation. Okay, now we're on 8, 6. Double it. Oh dear. It's nice to get a big double, isn't it? Is there anybody out there who disagrees? 22. Big one. All right. Now I get the big one. All right. 51. Okie dokie, 51. That's 2, 3. So we're going to chase that into the next shoe. That was good. All right, so we made 3,017 minutes. So because I was coughing and spluttering and everything, it took a long time this time. 17 minutes. And it was plus 3375. I'm not sure what number it is. I think it might be 88. Let's have a look. No, it's 86 in the current series. Because what I've been doing is just blackjack. It is still the most popular game, at least in terms of the number of tables. The casinos like baccarat a little bit more because they make twice as much money from baccarat for about 1/10 of the number of tables. I'll go and get that information in just a mo. But anyway, there we are. That's how it stands. And I'm going to pause and go and get the numbers. Okay, and this is not about me being Nevada obsessed, even though I spent, sort of like half my life, it seems. Was it 27 years actually living in northern Nevada? 38 years altogether going to Nevada on a regular basis and playing, because I am a gambler, except that I think of myself as a player. I think gamblers are people who, in the end, want to lose. It's something in their psyche. Whereas for me, from the age of like 10, when I first got interested in playing blackjack, which in those days was pontoon to me, which is sort of like an anglicization of the 21, which is the French name for the game. And I think it was invented in France. But anyway, let's get to the point here. Number of units for 21, 2015, right? And the total win, $1 billion. What is that? It's $1.4 billion, basically. Baccarat, 161 units, 108 million. But, oh no, got that wrong. Sorry, I went the long line there. Look at that. I just sort of really boo-booed there. I apologize. That's the line there for Baccarat. 1.4 billion, right? Both those games have a house win percent of about 15%, right? Which is astounding. And of course, what's fascinating about baccarat is that it's what 426 units against 2015, so that's a fifth the number of units, but more profit, bigger win for the house. So you can see why the house loves baccarat, and a big reason for that, a big part of that, of course, is when you get wallies like Vegas Matt and his merry men deliberately misleading their audience by saying, well, of course, you've got to bet banker every time because banker wins more often. That is the house line as well. Sit down at a baccarat table, tell the dealer that you're a newbie, you've never played the game before, and say, which should I bet on, banker or player? And then you'll get the dealer going through a parroted routine, which is basically, well, they say that you should bet banker because banker wins more often. The commission on banker blows away that slight edge. And in the games that say they're commission free but have strange things like if you bet on banker and win with a 3-card 7, it's a push. Or if you bet on player and it's a 6, then you only get half your money. Both of those things are totally crooked. There is no argument about that. That is how it is. So anyway, another thing to look at always is the win in the 12 months up to the end of last year. The total win from table games, all of them, 5 billion. Total win from stupid slots, 10.5 billion. So come on, people, get wise, get unpresidential, get numerate, think. That's all I'm saying. Just think. All right, apologies again. A little bit of a boo on my part, and that is that the Nevada report that I just showed you was in fact until the end of last year, and this is the latest one. This is for May, and so it gives us it gives us figures right the way up to basically the 1st of June. More current. What you'll see here is that everything is going down in Nevada. I think what's happened is that the casinos have finally priced themselves out of most people's pocket range. They're so bloody greedy. They've taken away all of the great advantages of going to play in Las Vegas, where you paid bugger all for your room and your food and all the rest of it, but you got to gamble with the money that you saved. So that going to Las Vegas, for instance, was a pretty decent deal because you got a room for $15 or less a night. You got a really good meal for $5 or less a time. You got everything sort of like taken care of, so that basically it was just chump change to be there. But then you had a lot more money to throw into the dealers' trays, and they changed all that because the sort of people who were focused on gambling primarily and providing a gaming experience that attracted people were taken over by the prod noses, the pen pushers, the bean counters, the accountants, the people with absolutely no knowledge or understanding or interest in the whole process that grew Las Vegas from 1931 on until the sort of like the late 70s when Atlantic City came and cocked everything up. But all of the people, all of the kind of the protocols that applied were thrown out of the window, and they got to the point where now a room on the Strip in Las Vegas will cost you $300 a night on a weekend at least, and they dream up crooked things like what do they call them, resort fees, and you just pay through the nose for absolutely everything. And then when you're done with that, they empty your pockets at the tables because they've changed the games. They've notched them up a bit so that the house advantage jumps for instance at 21 jumps from sort of less than 1%, and if you play it really well, less than half of 1%, to sort of 1% or more, and then they screw with baccarat and turn it into a game where it used to be 1.3% against you. Now it's 2 and a bit percent against you if you go for these new corruptions that are so-called commission free. I mean, it's a scandal basically, but nobody gives a shit. It's like a country that can elect Donald Trump isn't going to care about little details like this. Let's face it, And do you get the feeling that I don't like Donald Trump? Well, maybe I gave that away. All right, but it's beyond belief. I haven't been to New York since about 1978. Okay, in 1978, I think it might have been 77, but anyway, Donald Trump was a joke back then in his 30s. I was in my 30s because he's the same age as me. He's actually like 3 months older than me or 2 months older than me, whatever. But back then, he and I, same age, he was already a known crook, a philanderer, a daddy's boy with the brains of a turnip, and not a very smart turnip at that. He was a joke in New York in the late 70s. So what is he doing in the fucking White House? That's something you need to ask yourself. But that's for Americans to worry about. I'm invested in this because I have children that I left behind in America and grandchildren, and they're living through this crap. But it will pass. It will pass. Anyway, what was I saying? Note the drop: 5.35%. No, 5.35% drop for 21, and a reduction in the number of tables by about 250. Baccarat here overtaken 21 now as a source of revenue, 16% against 13.5%, 14% house win percent for 21. And these numbers matter, folks. They matter. If you're aware of this, and if you just can do simple arithmetic, you can figure out. And then you come down to, is progressive betting a better idea than flat betting or random betting? And the answer there is, duh. All right then. Maybe this time we'll lose. There's a song that goes, maybe this time I'll win. I think that must be from Cabaret. I have to look that up. I'm sort of hearing Liza Minnelli's voice singing that. Well, that was a bit of a surprise. Okay, on a bit of a tear right now. And they always end. Okay, 1, 2. Three, 4. There we go. So we bet 700 to ransom, protect, preserve 250. Worth it, I think. 22, love it. Excuse me, I just can't stop this coughing thing. I'm just having a bad day with that. I suppose I could just not do any videos, but that's very difficult. I'm on a mission, right? Repeat. Oh, 1, 2. +1. 51. Repeat. Double. Whoa, I was close. He nearly got me. Oh, damn it. Repeat. 51. 2, 3. Oh, that's good. I love it. That was a lucky one. Oh, he nearly got luckier. um, +1 is that? All right, that was another coffee break. +1, I think. Excuse me. Plus max. You can go as high as you like. That's my max. Repeat. Okay, next time we lose one of these, we go back to the mini. And there it is. Back to the min. So if I'd stayed with the high bet, I would have got that. But that doesn't happen all the time. The main thing is not to be greedy, you know? Just don't be greedy. +1. Double. Oops. Oh, that was really rubbing my nose, Nick, wasn't it? So that's 2, 3. Oh, 5, 6. It's turning nasty on us. 11, 6, drop. Oh, rubbish. Look at that. Oh, God. 17, 6. Oh, dear, oh, dear. That was just awful. See, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, that's 26, 6. I'm tempted to run right now, but I'm going to wait, I think. Did I say 27, 6? 16. All right, 27, 6, whatever. Okay, so 24, 6, which I am going to call 5, 2 in 500s. And I may regret this. But what I'm doing there is I'm simply rounding up into a new level of bets from 100s to 500s, okay? So 5, 2. Okay. 4, 2. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's a bugger, isn't it? 5, 6. We will be running away in a minute. Definitely. 11, 6. Okay, so here we gag. 11, 6 times 1,000 minus 100k on the dark side, plus 91, 350 on our side. So we are down 8, 650. And we are running away. So give me a moment while I go and find another table. Pull my boots on. Okay, so we're looking at 11, 6 and we're going to go into the drop zone, right? So the drop has to be 3,000. And just keep in mind that the cards are completely unaffected by the size of the bet. Probabilities, possibilities, dangers, whatever, completely unaffected by the size of the bet. Your heartbeat will be running faster. The dealer will be squirming a bit, possibly. The pit boss will be looking at you suspiciously, but basically makes no damn difference. Okay, so we're at a new shoe, new possibilities, maybe worse, maybe better, but the main thing is out of that shit show, which was the last shoe, and into what may turn out to be a new shit show, but may turn us around. Okay, so 11.6, drop is 3. Bugger! If he'd got 7 there, I'd have been terribly disappointed. Okay, so now we're on 8.6 because we're out of the drop zone. So we go back to the full size bet. That's going to be difficult. Okay, 14.12. Gonna have to fight for this one, I think. Oh, I thought we might get the biggie there. Okay, so now we're in 26.24. And I'm going to run away again. So we've got plus 85,000 over here, which is minus 15,000. Did I say 26.24? 26.24. And I'm going to drop again. All right, so I'm on the march. And once again, I apologize for the constant throat clearing. If I had a bigger audience, I'd have people sort of sending comments in saying, well, what you need to do is gargle with the soapy water or something. I don't know, whatever. But I'm not getting any of that. Anyway, 26.24. The drop needs to be 5,000 now. So we are in dangerous territory right now. But it's because weird shit has been coming at us. So 26.24, the drop is 5. $31.24. Oh, good God. 36.24. Just can't get a break, can we? 36.24. 41.24. Damn it. Finally. All right, so let's call it 36.25. Oh boy. Ruined. That can happen to you in this game. 36.25. So that's 86.50, which I can't do here. All right. So 86.50. Never, ever let the casino tell you how much you can bet. All right. That's the ruination of anybody. So we got plus 40,000 here, which means we're minus 60,000. Horrible. Haven't had one of these in a while. All right, so I'm off again. Oh, it didn't. Okay, so we're in shitty table limit territory right now. 86.50 is the bet. We really need to win this one. Okay. So now we're going to call it 36.40 for the turnaround. What do you think our chances are? Oh, joy. Okay, so 36.40, so we got our turnaround. Let me stop and do the sums, and then I'll fill you in. Okay, so we ended up with a profit of 90,000 here. Shoe number 4. First one we lost 8,650. The next one we lost 15,000. The last one, the third one, we lost 60,000. So that's total loss of 83,650, which needs to be deducted from our 90,000 profit on this shoe, right? So that gives us 6,350 in about 13 minutes, for which we had to dig deep. But this is the whole point of pattern betting specifically and progressive betting in general. You must have a big bankroll. You must have a betting plan. You must believe in the betting plan. You must be stone cold sober and mentally at your best in order to make the most of the power of pattern betting. And it isn't complicated. It isn't mathematically innumerate or whatever. It is simple common sense. And with each of these bursts here, these sessions, what I'm looking for is another sort of turnaround like this, where we have to fight, because then it makes it worth my while to process that and drop it into Excel and do a full analysis. So what I'm going to do is take this shoe, or this session rather, and the two before it, process them together, give you a tracking analysis of each of these sessions, coming to the sort of like the grand finale where we turned around for a profit. And all I'm trying to do is to just say to people, look, if you think of gambling as entertainment, and if you think of losing as fun, then good luck to you. You won't get good luck, but good luck to you anyway, because that's the polite and friendly thing for me to say. But I know you're going to lose. And if you go and look at Vegas Matt's figures for this year, he's not even 7/12 of the way through the year, and he's well over 300,000 in the toilet. Then what he does is he puts up a day in the life, where he's got his Rolls Royce bloody SUV, he's got his pool, his beautiful house, his all of that stuff. And basically what he's doing is he's raising a middle finger to his entire audience, because he's saying, hey, you people are stupid. Anybody who gambles is stupid. I do it as a business expense because I make more money out of you guys than I could possibly hope to make out of gambling. And so he's a performing seal. He's going to be balancing beach balls on his nose next and clapping his fins. And, well, no, wait a minute, he's doing that already, you know? I mean, this is the reality of the gambling channels on YouTube. They are selling shit. They want you to bet the way that they bet, because that will make the casinos that sponsor them, that host them, that encourage them, that give them comps. I mean, God, Vegas Matt is so crass. You know, he sort of talks about, oh, well, you know, WBG always has to stop at Starbucks. And of course we're comped, but, I mean, does he have to rub it in? Really? I mean, the guy is a child, is what he is. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. And it's people like him, of course, who get millions of fans, people who actually buy this crap. But there we are. Anyway, sorry about this. It's my sick perfectionist eye, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, what happened? Something went wrong. Anyway, folks, that's it. So we turned around. It's what happens all the time. But if you allow the casino to tell you how much to bet, in other words, if you go along with table limits without sort of getting up and moving to another table, as soon as your progressive betting bet, your pattern betting bet, whichever, is denied by the table limit, just pick up thy chips and walk away. Go to another table where you can bet what is required. And if you hit another table limit, move again. And that's entirely what it's all about. This time, it took us 3 gags to get out of trouble. But here we are. We made 6,350 compared to what we have to bet. Yeah, I mean, we had over 100,000 in play. But the point is, if you've got a bankroll that is big enough to protect itself, then you can beat these games. If you have to protect your bankroll, then it isn't up to the job. That's simple. Next time